I'm your Welcome 23, you're joining me for My First Two Loves, Chapter 31, Best Laid Plans. Hope you're all having a good day. There's something primal about competition. Feeling like everything could be snatched away by someone hungrier, faster, better. It's enough to push you out of your comfort zone and get into greatness. And if you're lucky enough to be fought over, competition has a way of being kinda hot, too. I am so hot. Can we slow down? After tearing through the neighborhood at twice our usual jogging pace, my lungs were screaming for air, but Mason raced forward. Noah's not slowing down. 30 seconds out of juvie, and he's already gunning for what's mine. Mason's gaze lingered on me for just a second, and I thought back to how devastated he'd looked when he saw me kissing Noah. Mason... This is about me, isn't it? Sounds like this is less about football and more about a certain cheerleader. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a reason, but it's not the only one. It's our senior year, and if I want to cement my legacy in the football at the East Ridge, it's now or never. My dad will never let me live it down if Noah took my spot. Even so, Mason slowed to a stop, and I bent over to suck in a lungful of sweet, sweet air. When my heart stopped trying to beat out of my chest, I glanced over at Mason. Only for the damn thing to stop completely as he peeled off his shirt. His abs were glistening and toned from a summer of conditioning and drills. Mason, it looks like the hard work is paying off. Mason's eyebrows shot up in surprise, my face warmed over. I quickly backpedaled. I mean, if physique counts, you might have a shot at this thing after all. Thanks for the vote of confidence. If you're down with the pep show, we should get back to running. Or peep show. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Oh, the sprinting had better work. I feel like we're training for the Olympics, not varsity sports. I know it seems like overkill, but it's bigger than high school football. This is my chance to really carve out my future. Recruiters always show out in full force for the homecoming game. If they see me play, college offers will come rolling in. Do you already know what you want to do after high school? I've got it figured out to a T. I'm going to have an amazing senior year, get recruited to the football for the Air Force Academy, and then enlist as an officer, no deviations. That sounds intense, but it's good to know what you want. Everybody keeps saying how life comes at you fast, but it seems like you're ahead of the curve. You already got a whole life planned out. It's not like I had a choice. My dad's been breathing down my neck about my future since I started high school. He went to Air Force Academy himself, so he's always insisted that it was the way to go for me. It always surprises me that my dad's more chill than yours in some ways. We need to draw out a stat sheet ranking them in categories like chores, curfew, grades. Only us kids of strict parents could understand. Right. Though I'm sure you've got something planned for your future too, right? I wasn't sure what to say. How was I qualified to decide my whole life when I didn't even know who I was yet? How was Mason so sure? He knew what he wanted. And he was disciplined enough to make it happen. Scrambled to come up with something convincing sounding. I think I'm gonna do something with photography. Yeah, I think that's your passion. Are you applying for art school or something? Yeah, totally. I've totally researched my art schools. Right. Mason didn't seem to buy it, but before he could push the subject, we came upon the stretch of the block we loved racing down when we were younger. Race you to my house. First one there's the better athlete. You're so on. I lengthened my strides and pulled up ahead, but his height more than made up the gap. We thundered down the sidewalk neck and neck until one of you trips and falls. I closed in on my house, stretched out my palm to slap the familiar siding, only for Mason to beat me to it. Victory. I demand a rematch. You really think you can keep up with me? I've seen your football drills, trust me, cheerleading practice is twice as hard. We can put that to the test if you really like. He took a step towards me, and I was intimately aware of how close he was standing. I could teach you a few tricks. This could get pretty physical. I had to admit, the prospect of fooling around with Mason on the football field was hard to pass up. I could just imagine him standing behind me, guiding me as he slid his hands down the length of my body. Yes, that's what we're thinking of, not the physical, okay. Big words for someone fresh off of a loss. We'll see about that, come on, unless you're scared. We jogged over to the East Ridge football field, and Mason grabbed an armful of supplies from the athletic shed. Our first drill is all about accuracy. After all, as a quarterback, you've got to be able to hit your target every time. I've been watching you play since Pee Wee League. I know what a quarterback does. Knowing and doing are two different things. First, you've got to... Mason picked up a ball and set up his sights on a target about 30 yards away. I set my sights on him. He was gorgeous, obviously, but Mason had a confidence when he was playing that took him to another level. Seeing him in his element was always a massive turn-on, and I let my mind and eyes wander. The ball sailed downfield and smacked the target dead center. Now you try. Okay, so I might have missed the entire lesson, but I'd seen him do this a million times. How hard could it be? I grabbed a football and squared off with the target. I'm gonna go far. I mimicked Mason's throwing pace or pose and hurled the football as far as I could. Go long! The football soared through the air, high above the target. I thought you were watching. Let's just say I got distracted. Mason's eyes met mine with a smirk before slowly gliding down the length of my body and working their way back up. You know the feeling. Here, let me help. He handed me another football before wrapping his arms around me from behind. His calloused fingers adjusted mine to sit between the laces. Okay. If you want the ball to end up where you want it, you have to know where to start. The rest will follow. You're gonna lecture me on how to planning even more now, huh? I'm just coaching you here. Once your hands are on the position, pull the ball back to your ear and follow through. Mason released my fingers and planted his hands on my hips, guiding me through the motions. His lips found my ear, and he lowered his voice to a whisper, like this. I shivered as his hot breath tickled my ear, overloading my senses. You make it sound so simple. Oh, well, it's a lot easier once you know what you're aiming for. Try it yourself. He took a step back, freeing me to throw the ball, but I could feel his gaze on me. I pulled back to my ear and followed through, sending the ball in a perfect spiral right into the target. I did it. I guess you're onto something. I knew you could with the right form. I think it's time for your rematch. Mason set up 6 targets at varying distances. When he returned, he handed me 3 footballs. We each have 3 targets. Remember, focus on your form and follow through. Bring it on. 3, 2, 1, go. I should throw to hit. Bullseye. Beat that. I wouldn't get too cocky. Mason reared back and toppled his first target with ease. This isn't my first rodeo. Focused on a target 15 yards away. Bling it, follow through. The football cut through the air like a knife through butter before nailing the target. It's just this easy, folks, to become a quarterback. It's really just this easy. No, it's not. Looks like I'm finding my groove. In response, Mason knocked down his second target. Down 2? 1 to go. Sure you don't wanna just surrender now? Never. Well then let's finish this. He pulled back and sent his last football flying, but it sailed just to the right of his target. Oh crap. Looks like you spoke too soon. I drew back. Last one. Make it count. Angle it. Aim it. The football slammed right into the center of the target. Look, she's now a better quarterback. And that's how it's done. That was something. You may be a better athlete after all. I can't believe I missed that last throw. I never miss. Maybe you just need to work out some tension. And I have just the thing for that. You do? Listen, part of his blood flow's gone somewhere else, let's be honest. I snatched up a nearby practice dummy and he hefted it against my shoulder. Give it your best shot. Are you kidding? I'm a quarterback and I don't tackle. Maybe not in the games, but there's nothing stopping you now. And it might even make you feel better. What do you have to lose? For a moment, I wasn't sure he'd bite. He just stood there studying me like I'd finally cracked, and then he smiled. You're nuts, you know that? Only for you. Now, down, blue, 42, hike! Mason took off a sprint and lowered his shoulder while I braced for impact. 1 second I was standing, the next I was flat on my back. After years of hoping, wishing, and dreaming, Mason was right on top of me. Emma, are you okay? I watched his lips form the words in a daze, but all I could focus on was how well his body fit my every curve. We were so close, all I had to do was lift my head just a little. Oh, life is about taking risks, why not? I gently pressed my lips to his, savoring that rare moment when dreams met reality. Mason slid his fingers behind my neck, and I cradled my face while he nipped at my bottom lip. Behind my closed eyelids, my vision became clear by the second, and when we pulled apart, the first thing I saw was his smiling face. I'm guessing that means you're alright. I am now. Mason rolled off of me, and for a moment, we laid out on our backs, looking up at the sky above, infinite in all of its possibilities. You know, Emma, thinking about the future is a ton of pressure. It means being decisive. It's hard to follow or choose the trajectory the whole rest of your life takes. I'm guessing that's why you don't have a plan. I do have a plan. I just need to iron out some details. You don't have to explain. I wanted you to know that it's okay to not know. You've still got plenty of time to figure it all out. We lay there in silence, my mind racing until it was time to pack up the supplies and head home. Very true, I'll explain at the end of the video. But did I really have time? I thought about it all the way home, and I showered away the day's sweat and grime. I was racing towards my future at light speed, and the cheerleading on the rocks, and college less than a year away. I wasn't prepared. The further I ventured into adulthood, the more I realized that there was no rules and no guide rails. One wrong turn and it all came crashing down around you. I needed advice from someone who had been in my shoes. Shakily, I climbed the stairs up to the attic and crouched down in front of an old trunk. The lid creaked as I opened it, and I fished out a camera and an old photo album before flipping through the pages. There was only one person I wanted to hear from, and unfortunately, she was also someone I'd never speak to again. I ran my thumb across the image of the familiar face. Hi, Mom. So, real quick, before we get on to my small little moment, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe if you did enjoy the content. I put 110% of myself into these videos, the voices, and even commentary, things to make you laugh and whatnot. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get to what I have to say. So, when I was 16 years old, and before that, but 16 years old is where I really peaked to... I had everything planned out in front of me. I was in college prep, tech prep. I was getting 2 years of free college. I was going to go to a video game designing college. I originally thought I was going to go into football and really just do that hardcore, and because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being able to let my frustrations and everything out on the field. But you had to choose, because being academically, like, you jumped literally into college material from being like a regular freshman. Instead of doing like just, you know, calculus, or not even calculus, just algebra 1, you jumped up to things like calculus. So you talk about being thrown literally into unknown waters, and you have to, in the span of no time at all, quickly learn algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, and things like that, and go forward. And to catch up to where all that was. So, again, I had my whole life plan ahead of me. Then my life took, again, once you hit a certain age, and then especially if your life is complicated, you've got, you know, things in your way, whatnot, you can't always plan for all these things. You really can. And I also decided to give that all up because of family, and I was having a brother coming into this world, and I knew what I had gone through, that he would go through the same, and lo and behold, he started to, and I had to insert myself into his life to be a brother, and also a father, and a caregiver. So your life is not going to end up like that. But even myself, I didn't know who I was personally. I knew what I wanted to do, but I still don't to this day know who I am or what I want to do. I still am doing the same thing that I've been doing since I was 18 years old. Never taken a day off, never done anything. So that's my, I guess, life lesson for you is be prepared no matter what age you are, no matter how old you are. There's always, until the last breath you take in your body as you die, you are always going to have indecisiveness, turns, twists, anomalies, everything that's thrown at you that is going to make your life a minefield. Simply put, those of you who don't have to go through that, and those of you who have been able to do things as a plan, and the worst that it is you were in love with Timmy, and Timmy didn't love you back, or Timmy cheated on you, or something like that, and that's the worst that you have to do, and it's the worst you have to go through, you are very fortunate and lucky. So, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace.